Thank you for having me to present here today. And also we have people online. Yes. So hi, Israel. And sorry that you couldn't be joining us here. And I am a computer scientist from Kristianstad University in Sweden. And I will today present a paper that me and my colleague Kamilla, that is sitting out here, we have written, and this is in mind of and in the realm of AI tools and how we treat this into the computer science theses and the research methodology course we have prior the actual thesis course. And as you know, in computer science, we do programming and we do also writing with natural language text. So it's both these programming texts and natural language, and we combine these and engineering into this. So the title of this paper, Enhancing Quality of Computer Science Bachelor Theses by Preparing Students via Prior Research Methodology Course, including AI Tools. And this has been very important for us because there are lots of things for us as staff to think of, and when we are meeting and enhancing students in their learning journey and to produce an outcome where they are leaving the program. So, let's see. No. There. Mm-hmm. So this is the content I will take you through. The main objectives of why we have done this, and we are from Sweden, as we have said, and I just can show you where from Sweden, because Sweden is a long country. Main challenge and goal for computer science theses, not just for us, but international. How we have approached this from a staff perspective, and me and Kamilla, then I'm in charge of the research methodology course, and Kamilla then the later bachelor thesis course, and how we kind of soft-wise bind this together, and then AI tools into this mix. And then the result and the student feedback and the references. So the main objectives of this article, this paper, is to ensure academic empirical quality. And this is via research methodology course incorporating AI tools to meet later requirements in the thesis course. And how to ensure student comprehension. This is very much how we ensure this, and how we then ensure and quality ensure this using AI tooling. And this is just a snapshot at the bottom from the article, where we are kind of emphasizing here that it is a growing challenge due to increased complexity for us as computer scientists, because it happens very much now in AI as not just using as AI tools, but we are developing for AI in computer science. So it's a kind of double-edged sword in a way, and that we kind of have to tackle when we are dealing with our students and prepare them in the best way. So this is the main objectives for why we have written this and want to present it here. And we are here, as you see, southern part of Sweden, and just made a little trip down to Florence, Firenze. And it takes approximately for us to fly 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And we have our programs, as you see here, bachelor program in software development and bachelor program in computer science engineering, specialized in Internet of Things, very much sensors and so forth. So it's very much data, data, data. And that is what we love, data, data, data. And this is what we want our students to understand. And when we have AI layer to this, it becomes quite complex. Mm-hmm. So the main challenge here and the goal of what we're trying to do, not us at this computer science department, but also collectively all together internationally, but we can talk for ourselves here, to reverse engineer the thesis process. And that is Kamilla's course, and then how I take on board that to prepare the best way for in an engineering process, what is the end outcome, and how we kind of plow through that and prepare the students at the beginning to understand how they're going to go through these parallel processes in engineering, writing, and search information, and create this body of knowledge of theirs into a very complex space. So it's very many processes, and we demand very much from the students in this process, and it hasn't become less over the years. So that is a very interesting equation. So we have achieving the learning outcomes specified in the core syllabus, producing a high quality thesis, and applying appropriate assessment and grading criteria to the thesis work. Now, as you see here, assessment and grading criteria to a thesis work, when you have a complex process, it's quite a rigorous task by us also to grade these evolved work paths of what the students have gone through and what they're presenting. And so we have to be quite rigorous on our side as well, how the students can navigate through this with us. We have the AI tools, as we know, and I come to that. You see some of the staff here, and we are even more people, but this is just some of us. And we are applying a process with ourselves here that we are not just teaching, we are also reflecting. And we are talking and we are discussing as to how we improve all together and also individually, and also very receptive with what we capture by the students in their learning journey. So it's a very kind of exhaustive process, but this is what happens on our side and what we try to harvest and take care of. We have what we call the reverse engineering, and I talk very much about that. And that is, as I said, start from the end goal. And this is the thesis and the grading mechanism we are living under and beyond for the moment. And how we prepare for this and set the scene, so to say, and how to meet these grading criteria in an AI landscape. Anyone can shoot any question at any time and get any reply from any perspective. So with that in mind, how do we flip the sequential order when we write something? Because we are demanding in this kind of form we have always had, and for very many years, the thesis work, we start to write. We have an introduction, we have a method, we start to experiment design, what variables, what research question, we come to that. And all this happens in a sequential order. The engineering process is somewhat different. That is reverse engineering. So we kind of go reverse a process to an end result, and then we are going to start to write at the same time, and we're going to start to use the AI tools as another layer. So this is multitasking, and these are humans doing this still, and in combination and assisted by AI. So it is for us as teaching staff to be crystal clear as much as we can, so we don't have students ducking or we say fainting in this process. And for students to have clear requirements so they know how to navigate the ship of their own. So I'm taking you on a little journey here in terms of the text and the article, and just highlighting as to how we reflect and what we have changed. And in this November, we have gone from research methodology, that is a kind of traditional literature taking things up, shall be updated, should I say, this summer, but it's not yet. And very much happens in terms of the AI tooling, as you know, as you heard here with the previous presentations, but even more so on the development side. Not just, we say, the AI tooling use side, but also development side. We have chosen here, we have a strong professor in Sweden, Claes Bolin, our professor in software engineering. And I worked previously at Blekinge Institute of Technology, and he's placed there. And why not? We are neighbors, and we bring this in because we are now dealing with both hardware, as you saw, hardware and software students. And the empirical perspective in here is very important when you deal with data and AI. How we say evaluate data, and how we go about it, and how we create results. And we have to be very rigorous and clear in this for the students. So this is, we had previously, we had a project plan prior to the thesis course, but as a self-reflection here and spoken with the students, creating a project plan when you never have created a thesis in your life, it's a little bit backward in terms of process. So we have a mini thesis now we think is probably creating a better understanding, and a minor task at the end, which is a project plan. So we kind of make a comprehension of these different two forms of documents to benefit them in their own process and hopefully create more clarity. So this is then we segue over to the Bachelor thesis course. And this is quite complex in itself, as you can see. This is a timeline, and the student thesis start. And a supervisor is allocated. And we are also, because we are doing software and hardware, we are also having industry into this process at times, where there are projects that we can have students so they get this experience from industry. Not all, but some projects are of that kind. And then we have a midway seminar, or Kamilla has a midway seminar, and with also an examiner feedback in there. And then we have modifications and corrections, we say dealing with that feedback that have occurred and supporting the students in the process. And then the supervisor continues, and then we have a final thesis at the end. And so we have quite many that we are pushing through. And this is quite a heavy load of work. I think we had 54, yeah. And they work in pairs. So it's a quite a decent number of students that we push through. And here, the overall aim of the course is to enable students to independently plan, conduct, and present a scientific study. And as you know, we emphasize the empirical part here, both in written and oral form. And this includes developing the ability to apply scientific methods within the field of computer science or computer engineering, demonstrating deep understanding of relevant theoretical foundations and current research via articles to search this and see what there is. And as you heard previous presenter, that it's hard to keep up. And also that you may take help of AI to search all these articles that might, with your keywords, be most appropriate for what you're going to do, but be able still to evaluate that. Clearly and effectively communicate technical and scientific knowledge at an advanced level. So this is what we ask for, and we are trying to support as much as we can as staff. And now we come to the AI tool case study. So this is now new. As you know, the views on AI into academia and has been, I would say, mostly very negative because of fear of cheating and all. And for myself, that have been working with AI for 20 years on more of the development side, I'm more optimistic, but I also see the pitfalls, of course, in where one should be cautious. But here we lift it in, and we want to have the students to understand that this is the reality. This is what we have, and how can you gain from it? Not losing yourself. You know, the logic is very important in problem solving, so we want to keep that still going. So just as a thought-provoking example, as testing these things out myself, as to talking with students, if I, as we talked about prompting, and prompting might not be interesting if you don't know what to do with it, but if you now are prompting, what can you do with the language model and what can you gain from it? And if I put a prompt in here and actually say, or to it that, you know, create a thesis for me and with this included, it does a quite good work, I would say. You know, I'm not flawless and I'm not naive. You know, it actually creates a good, decent base for me. And so I just wrote this in the article, and as to we have discussed as well, is how we have to change our approach in learning and teaching, is with these tools and how we approach knowledge, how we then also have to think about what we actually ask students to do, or the person that shall deliver knowledge, because we are in the knowledge industry. What do we need to change to make us adjust to the situation? And not just us individually in the computer science department at Kristianstad University, but collectively. And we kind of touched up on this before, previously on the other presentations today, that we have a kind of bottom-up approach, but we also need Ministry of Education. And Singapore, I know they are on top of everything and good on it. But we need to, the rest of the world, we need to be aware how we're going to deal with this in much better way. So we also have a top-down support. So AI tool integration, and as you know, ChatGPT is just one of them. You have Gemini or Notebook LM or any of the language model supports, but of course, we can also go beyond those language models to support in various ways, but these are the ones we are focusing on here. And that we tested in this article to generate actually the grading criteria for our students, and I will just show that in a couple of slides ahead. And of course, we don't want students to be dumb. We want them to be smart, and we want them to be literate, and we want them to understand how to survive in industry today and in academia. But you know, our students are the ones are going to implement the AI in its fully glory. And we are aware about that. And that is not an easy task. And we feel a huge responsibility for our students we push out the door. And we really take that seriously. Now, AI tool case study. So here is an example of a prompt. Show a grading scheme with grade 3, 4, 5, because that is what we use. So it's pass with distinction, and we have 3, 4, 5 here. So software development and these courses. So what does it generate? This was a pure test. And look now, I got really surprised. This came out. And I have to stand up now. And I just, you know, when I received this, because I elaborate and I test things myself, so I know what I'm talking about. When I got this, I thought, oh my, you know, this is a very good outcome as to, you know, talk through and discuss through with students, and also for students to understand and discuss with us how they position themselves in advancing themselves. This may not be perfect, but it's a start. And this is one off with that prompt. And no elaborations. This is just one off. Really kind of a good outcome, I have to say, and I feel very thankful for the two large language models, because if I should sit and do this, it takes some experience and elaborations and also colleagues in between. What is very neat, I will say, with AI, it creates an objective input as a start for us to discuss from. You know, it's very easy in these situations that it becomes a subjective kind of elaboration and a little bit, you know, tense. One have not, you know, exactly the same opinions maybe about everything. But this is kind of coming in as an arrow into our reality as a very good way. And then here, in terms of research question, as how to clarify a research question in terms of what we mean with advancing it. So this is also just an example, and there are, when this is also one-off, and no elaborations and no kind of fixing there. But what is important to remember here is that we have to ensure and nurture and maintain logical consistency and coherence in the writing, because what we are understanding when we go through all these theses is, of course, we sniff up, and we get quite good at when we see AI generated content, maybe not fitting with the other parts, and we have to align the engineering part with the writing and the implementation of software. So when we feel like, this is not keeping together, we become a little bit suspicious. So it's very important that we keep this and we communicate this to the students, and they are also aware that we are quite good at understanding how we sniff these things up, because we get a sense of it when we are reading things and understanding the problem solving process. From this, as you see, with bringing in the students and being open to take feedback from them, and taking that seriously and not just neglect it. I mean, you can take it takes feedback on board, but kind of neglect it, but really take it on board. And so the student feedbacks, they are appreciating solid foundation in subject matter, that we really try to meet them and try to really work through. And they feel that with us. Appreciate the structure and supportive environment, that we are there, and that we are embracing how we are preparing them the best we can for going out in industry and academia, but most for us. And in mind, that the programming, as it was in Forbes India the other day, or in this week, 25% of the code is now AI generated. So we have to also look at how we prepare our computer science students in terms of AI tooling and understanding AI as a subject, and not just AI tooling. We have to be aware of these things and bring those things together and prepare them the best way. And then, of course, courses improved based on student feedback and staff consolidations. And the references is here, and I just want to, because my time is over, one thing I really want to highlight here, and this is actually where I actually would like to start to talk and present from. You see, Hong Yuni et al., they published this paper, 3D LLMs, injecting the 3D world into large language models from advances in neural information processing systems 23. As you know, we have large language models today. In a couple of years, we also will have 3D LLMs entering the stage, where we collect 3D digital replica of the world, the physical world, with the language models, and these we are going to fuse. The complexity will increase. Thank you very much.